What's up? So I got a proposed idea for the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. You remember 2012, about 2012, maybe 2013. Showtime had a bantamweight championship tournament. Remember? Yes, they did. But I believe it was a four-man tournament. Um, Joseph Agbeko, Abner Mares, Yanni Perez, and what was the fourth guy? Of course, Victor Chinyan. Remember that tournament? Four-man bantamweight tournament. Abner Mares won the tournament because not low ball, not low balled, he low blowed Joseph Agbeko and Victor Chinian. He fought a dirty, disgusting fights on his way on route to win the IBF title he won? Um, you know what I'm saying? In that tournament that Abner Mares won. I think Agbeko was the IBF champion. Okay? So, with that being said, I think that the PBC, since there hasn't been any World Boxing Super Series 154-pound tournament, and I highly doubt that there will be, then why doesn't the PBC do a eight-man tournament? The reason they can't do four-man tournament because there's so many great fighters. What the deal, Brooklyn Child Boxing? I'm just actually doing a video on what I'd responded back to you in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? About this eight-man tournament that I'm proposing to the PBC. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when Abner Mares and Agbeko and those guys, Victor Arcinian was a great fighter. Put that man in the Hall of Fame. When those fights were happening, it was only a four-man tournament, okay? And it was on Showtime. And you got to remember at the time, Showtime wasn't the powerhouse that they went on to become like in 2013. You know what I'm saying? I believe them fights, Yanni Perez with Agbeko and Victor Arcinian, those fights were like in 2010, you know what I'm saying? 2011, you know what I mean? And I think it'd be great for the PBC to actually do that for 154. Don't wait on the World Boxing Super Series. You know what I'm saying? The Formulator tournament at 154. You know what I mean? Brooklyn Child Boxing says crazy night of boxing last night. Absolutely, man. Great night of boxing. Big ups to Finks. What's happening with you, Finks? Finks says not my take, but 154 in the last year's produced better results than any of the World Boxing Super Series tournaments. Yeah, possibly. But one thing I will not agree with people talking about that the 154-pound division is weak and those fighters are garbage. That's why they be losing left and right. No, man. People really do say some asinine stuff, man, without really thinking. These guys are losing fights because they're fighting each other. That's what the hell is happening. I mean, I'm not even going to include any WBO champion in this tournament. For what? What for? These guys, the Teixeiras, Jaime Munguia, these guys have no interest in unifying titles. Their promoters have no interest in putting them in fights to unify titles. You know what I'm saying? You check it, especially Golden Boy. For what? Put, let that man Jaime Munguia or Patrick Teixeira fight anybody on the PBC side at 154. Man, it's not happening, man. Those guys are going to take a L. And yes, I know guys are fighting each other and guys taking L's, but you could just see the skill set. You know what I'm saying? The guy Jaime Munguia has no head movement. He just throws punches in bunches. He's fought The best fighter he's ever fought is Spike O'Sullivan. You know what I mean? You check it. So these guys, I'm not even going to include them in the tournament. You know what I mean? Look, the WBO also blocks fights. They're not good for boxing sometimes. You know what I mean? Just like every other sanctioning body, like the WBA, how they blocked the undisputed heavyweight fight between Wilder um, and Anthony Joshua, talking about Povetkin is a mandatory. You have to make the fight in 24 hours. That was the biggest crock of shit I ever heard in my life. And Eddie Hearn and them, they think they could say anything to man, and the man just gonna run with it. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? The WBO have Danny Garcia ranked high, probably number one at the 147-pound division. Why is that? He's with the PBC. Why are they not keeping the same energy and being consistent? Why? Is it because Danny Garcia is of Puerto Rican descent? That's why you have him ranked? Look at this inconsistencies in the WBO. Just trying to actually, they're not being consistent. So how could you even take them seriously? These are the same people who stripped Floyd Mayweather of the WBO belt he beat um, Manny Pacquiao for, and they made it vacant for Jesse Vargas versus Tim Bradley. The same WBO who took the man Austin Trout out of the rankings. He was due for a title shot when Demetrius Andrade got stripped of his WBO 154-pound title. Then Cannoli fought for it, and then he vacated it. No, I'm sorry. Then no, after Andrade got stripped, Liam Smith versus John Thompson was made for the vacant IBF title. It actually should have been Liam Smith versus Austin Trout. They just took the man out the rankings. The same WBO who was trying to get involved in a lawsuit, trying to stick their nose in against Al Heyman. You know what I mean? So they actually, are a sanctioning body that is not following its own rules. They're just picking and choosing who they want to be champions. So Patrick Teixeira could stay over there. You know what I'm saying? They'll probably lose to any formidable champion. That's just the truth. I seen this guy get knocked out, sparked the F out by Curtis Stevens. You know what I mean? You check it. So for this tournament, I think an 8-man tournament would suffice. I think that Jamel Charlo and Jason Rosario, being the champions they are, should have a bye week, okay? They should have a bye week and await the winners of the other six guys, you know what I mean? And the other six guys I proposed in this tournament would be Jared Hurd, Arislandi Lara, Brian Castano, Julian J. Rock Williams, and one more person. Julian J. Rock Williams, Jared Hurd. Um, I said Arislandi Lara, correct? I got to think who's the other guy that I proposed. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Erickson Lubin. So Jason Rosario and Jamel Charlo have a bye week, kind of like the NFL. How there's a wild card week and the number one and number two seed don't play um, in the first wild card week. You know what I mean? Like this year, the number one and two seeds in the AFC were the Patriots and the Ravens, okay? So they didn't play in the first week. No, I'm bugging. I'm bugging. The Patriots played in the wild card. They lost to the Titans. So it was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Ravens in the AFC. They didn't play in the wild card week. They await the winners of the wild card games, okay? So they get a bye week. And in the NFC, it was San Francisco and who was it? San Francisco, I believe New Orleans. Was it New Orleans? They were the number one and two seed. I could be mistaken in the NFC, but I don't know for damn sure it's the 49ers. That's who I got going all the way to the Super Bowl, but that's neither here nor there. So Jason Rosario and Charlo get a bye week. Jared Hurd, Lubin, Lara, Tony Harrison, Brian Castano, and Julian J. Rock Williams all compete on wild card week. Let's say Hurd fights Lubin, Lara fights Harrison, and Castano fights J Rock. Then the winners of those fights, they move up till we have a definitive winner. There's too many great fighters on the PBC at 154 for them not to have a tournament. And any of these guys could lose to each other. So why not just do it in a tournament type of fashion? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this prolonging fights. Look, Jared Hurd lost his two straps while he was one fight away from fighting Jamel Charlo, who lost his fight, so he had to wait. So Jamel Charlo did a rematch with Tony Harrison. So any of these guys could take a L. So I think, man, hit that thumbs up. Be Marsh Boxing when you come in this room. You know what I'm saying? Hit that thumbs up. See what fella's saying in the chat. Fix Out of Boxer says, not my take, but 154 in the last year. Okay, I read that already. Fix Out of Boxer says, PBC's Castano looking to get belt from Teixeira. Oh, you're absolutely right. I forgot about that. You're right, Fix Out of Boxing. That's why I salute my chat. They know they shit, man. You're absolutely right, man, because Teixeira, the manager of Castano, who's also a manager. It's the same guy who now manages Manny Pacquiao and a plethora of other fighters from the Philippines. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Casimero and Ancajas. You know what I mean? That guy's a power broker. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he did propose to the WBO to make Brian Castano like the mandatory for Teixeira. So that might happen. Look, if the man Castano can go over there to top rank or the zone or whatever and beat Teixeira and bring that WBO back, because he will beat Teixeira. That's just what's going to happen. There's no prolonging or thinking too much about that fight. Castano beats Teixeira all day, you know what I mean? If he brings that belt over to the PBC, then we could actually have a tournament for undisputed. So I actually like the idea of that, you know what I mean? Thinks Out of Boxing says Harrison. Absolutely, Harrison should be in the tournament. Yes. Thinks Out of Boxing says any single win at 154 be looking better than wins from some of these pound for pounders. Do you see any welterweights moving up successfully? Any welterweights moving up successfully? As of right now, no, because I think all welterweights are accustomed to their weight class and they have business to handle at 154. I don't think there's any 147 pounder right now who's wants to transition into 154. I think there's better paydays at 150 at 147, more pay-per-view fights. So I don't think. Look at Kell Brook, who's a big, massive welterweight. Look at this guy. This guy got no smoke with nobody at 154. He's tithering before. He's being a tweener between 147 and 154. He don't know what he want to do, and that's why his career's been stagnated. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I actually like the idea of Teixeira and Castano, man. You know what I'm saying? Make that fight happen. Castano, I'm sure, can go over there to the zone or wherever and snatch that belt and bring it over to the PBC where the real 154-pound champions are at. You know what I mean? I would really love for them to do that. Hopefully, the PBC. I'm gonna add them in this video. Probably shoot them a tag on Twitter, and I doubt they respond or will do anything about it. But if they do, I will be shocked. And this is what boxing needs at 154, so we can actually find out who's the real champ of champs at 154. You know what I mean? Because if these guys do a round robin just fighting each other, guys gonna lose, and then the guy who lost gonna mess around and beat another guy. It's just what it is in this division. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, 154, make that happen. A PBC tournament. Before I leave out, I'm gonna propose those names again. just in case anybody coming into this live stream late. Okay, 8-man tournament. Rosario, Jason Rosario, WBA and IBF champion, and Jamel Charlo, WBC champion, they get a bye week. Kind of something sort of like the NFL does bye weeks for the wild card. You know what I mean? For the number one and the number two seed. They get to chill, lay back in the cut, while Charlo, Jared Hurd, Erickson Lubin, Erislandy Lara, Tony Harrison, Brian Castano, and Julian J. Rock Williams duke it out in order to move along and further in the tournament. Like I said, it's something sort of like the bantamweight tournament that they had on Showtime years ago with Yanni Perez, Joseph Agbeko, Victor Chinyan, and Abner Maris. That was a four-man tournament. Well, this is an eight-man tournament because the division is deep on the PBC. Okay? So, for example, like I said, Rosario and Charlo, chilly chill, number one and two seed, awaiting the winners of, let's say, Hurd fights Lubin. Okay? Hurd fights Lubin, Lara fights Tony Harrison, and Brian Castano fights J Rock. Okay? Let's say Castano beats J Rock, Lara beats Harrison, and Hurd beats Lubin. Okay? Then they go up. The lowest seed, the lowest ranked seed out of Hurd, Lubin, Lara, Harrison, Castano, and J Rock, the lowest seed who does so happen to win, they get to fight Rosario or Charlo. You know what I'm saying? And just so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I wish I had visuals to illustrate, this tournament. Maybe I should have written it down on paper and just show you exactly what I mean. But y'all catch the drift. Be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. Big ups to Fix Art of Boxing, Brooklyn Child Boxing. I believe both of y'all from Brooklyn, right? I got a lot of Brooklyn heads who be coming on my channel, and I salute them, man. BK's a fight town, you know what I mean? Just like DC. You know what I'm saying? So I guess real recognize real. Salute to everybody who comes through in the chat. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. Leave your thoughts and comments. And if you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace. Oh yeah, you guys want me to tell you who I think would win that whole tournament? I have no idea. Fights need to get made so we could have a conclusion. I'm gone. Peace.